Hi, everybody. This is Tamara from Moogly, and we are very hopefully live. It is 11 a.m., November 5th, and we are live. I know it because there goes my phone. I forgot to turn the volume off again. There we go. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We made it through October. We made it to November. Very exciting month, of course. Lots of fun holidays and preparation and things to get ready for the season. Definitely coming down to the wire. I just finished up making block 23. Can't show it to you yet, but I have finished making it myself. It's another gorgeous one, very exciting. So, yeah, I can't believe the year has once again flown by. 2025 has been a crazy year, to be sure. Great things, some crazy things. It's been a mixed bag, but we're all still here together, and I appreciate you and thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get right to it. First, of course, I'm just going to go down the list. If you have, and if you want to learn anything more about what I talk about today, if I tell you about something you haven't seen yet, you want to go check it out. All the links for everything I'm talking about today are up in today's post on Moogly. That's the link, that's the list I follow along right here with you. So I just follow right along with everything I've written down there. So you'll always find it on the post. So, first and foremost, what I'm wearing today is the Heatherstone shawl, which is a free pattern you can find on mooglyblog.com. And I have block 22 to show off from the Moogly Crochet Along. A little cloggy today. Let me get my tea. It's funny, after our trip to Scotland this summer, I gave up coffee. I switched over to tea completely. I think I'm a little bit more tired for it, but my stomach seems to like it better. All right, here we go. Here is block 22 for the Moogly Crochet Along 2025. This one is courtesy of Make It Crochet. The designer is Kim Guzman. And this is what the back looks like. And if you look closely, you might notice on the back here, we've got some different moves. You can see kind of strands going across here. And if you look really closely, my two colors here are really similar, so it's a little harder to see. Oops, I missed a little end there. I need to do some trimming. But you can see some chain spaces here. Now, the way Kim did her color changes, and she talked about it in the pattern, was she would just pull up a long loop. And the way I like to do it was actually to do a short chain. Usually 3 or 4 chains would give me the distance needed, but the chain just feels a little bit more solid to me. Of course, you can do it however you like, and if your color changes, you might have to break the yarn after every round, depending on how you're doing it. But this is how mine turned out. I think it's a really pretty square. I think my reds here blended together a little bit more than I would have liked. I've seen some really gorgeous versions of this in the group. It's a beautifully solid square, as you can see, just a little bit of lace. I can just barely see the light peeking through at me here. There's the back again, and there's the front again. A really beautiful square. Blueberry Pie, I believe, was the name of this one. And like I say, definitely check it out. Different colorways, it's amazing. Different colors always make a dramatic difference with the projects. But with these squares, wow. Talk about a difference with the colors. Definitely check out hers versus mine, dramatically different looks. It's one of the reasons I always try and get them made ahead of time so you guys can see dramatically different looks as you begin to make your own and see some different colors. Now, all that said, I'm talking about how we're wrapping up. We've only got 2 more squares left for this year, 23 and 24. And then that 24th one will, if you're new at this, it'll come out the Wednesday before American Thanksgiving. That one comes out one day early to make sure everybody has hopefully time to print it out, jot it down, get it ready. If you're getting on the road to grandma's house, over the river and through the woods, right? We need our projects to take with us. So make sure that one comes out a day early. So hopefully everybody can take it for their weekend road trip and have it to work on over the weekend. And then, of course, December is put it together, assemble it, whether you're making pillows, smaller blankets, one great big blanket. A lot of people like to add a 25th square so you can get a 5 by 5 rather than a 6 by 4. Um, totally up to you. December is for you to relax, join your squares together, put whatever border you desire on it. Again, the bordering method and the joining method are completely up to you. This is where, in addition to the color and the arrangement of the squares itself, you get to make your blanket your own, personalize it for you. I do have lots of um, what am I trying to say? Lots of patterns for different edgings, and I have a whole post with lots of different joins that I link quite a bit in the crochet alongs, and those can be really helpful. So if you're looking for some ideas, I've got some great ideas on Moogly for you there as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Anna and Shannon and Chris and Julia and Carlene. and Mr. I'm not sure how to say that one, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm glad you guys like the square. So, as I say, we're wrapping it up. We've got December to wrap up this year's blankets, but that does mean Moogly Crochet Along 2026 is absolutely in its planning stages. We've got new yarn for you this year. I'm very excited about that. I've already got my sample box of one of each of my colors to make sure they're going to work, and I'm super excited. Every year I have to go a new direction in color, right? By the end of the year, I've been doing my dark Art Deco colors this year, and I'm enjoying them, but I'm ready for something lighter and brighter. So you can look forward to seeing that from me next year. Like I say, brand new yarn. I'm still in talks. We're figuring that all out. New company, new yarn. Very excited to share that with you guys. Still going to be worsted weight acrylic. That's, or whatever fiber you like to use. But that's what I'll be using. Still a worsted weight acrylic. So these squares might be new yarn, but they are going to work with all the past years as well. This crochet along goes all the way back till 2014. So it's one that you can really jump in anytime. Don't be afraid that, oh my gosh, it's November. Should I start a year long crochet along? Absolutely, because you can go back years and years, pick out your favorites, add the new ones from 2026. They're all going to work together as long as you use the same yarn fiber and size throughout. That's kind of the important part. All right. So I'm very excited. We're working on that right now. All right. What else? We have, of course, lots of crochet along updates. Now, it's kind of weird since I came out with the last live. Words are hard for me this morning. Maybe that lack of coffee is starting to add up. I've come out with a couple patterns on Moogly, but the thing is, I have nothing to show for them because they were both things that I needed to send away. The first one, I believe, I'm not sure what order. Yeah, the first one that was the corner window square that I did for Warm Up America. That has, of course, gone on to Warm Up America. When I shipped in my box of hats, scarves, and mittens, I went ahead and included the 7 by 9 inch sections that I'd been making for them as well. So, unfortunately, I don't have that one to hold up for you today, but I've got some pretty pictures for you on the blog post. And that pattern specifically, like I say, that sounds really weird, right? 7 by 9 inch square. It's not a square, it's a rectangle. I have a habit of calling them squares, I think, because I talk about the Moogly Crochet Along squares so much. But Warm Up America is a charity organization, and one of the many things they do, besides a hat, scarf, and mitten drive every fall, which we just did and rocked out, by the way, thank you again for that. But one of the main things they also do is all year round, they take 7 inch by 9 inch rectangles, sections, I think they call them, and you can send them in, and then they have volunteers that assemble those into blankets that are then distributed to the community. And of course, they also accept full size blankets. But if you're somebody who just wants to use up some stash, it's between 50 and 100 yards of yarn usually to get one of those little 7 by 9 inch sections out. So it's a great stash buster if you've got some leftover acrylic yarn laying around. We want these blankets to be, tough, be able to go in the washer and dryer and all that jazz. So, yeah, it's just a really great pattern, but it is gone. I can't hold it up for you right now. And then, of course, there was the Farmhouse Bowl Cozy, which just came out yesterday, but that one's long gone too. That one headed off to college with my college student. So I will have to see if I can find it in his apartment, if it's clean enough to take more pictures. Unfortunately, I only ever got the one picture of it, and I know that's complete oversight on my part. But it ran off to the college apartment and there it goes. So I do need to make some more. So hopefully I'll get some more pictures up for that one soon. But again, that one's all the way up in Minneapolis, so we'll just have to pretend. But both of those patterns are up on Moogly right now. The Farmhouse Bowl Cozy uses Lily Sugar and Cream. The corner window rectangle for Warm Up America uses Red Heart Super Saver. So those are both up free on the blog right now. I'm sorry I can't show them to you today. So let's go and jump into the crochet alongs because I've been doing some other fun crochet alongs right now as well. And this one is the one I've been doing the longest next to the Moogly crochet along, my Jimmy Beans road trip blanket. Let's see. I finally finished up the kit number 10, which would have been last month, the one I got for last month. I don't have the instructions yet for this month, so I'm still waiting for those with everybody else. But I can show you the last step I finally got done for last month's kit. If I can get the right side out. Here we are. Have I blocked it and woven in my ends? No. But I got the crocheting part done. And that last final bit was that line right there. You might remember I've been holding up these big sections of stripes, all these different stripes sort of in different parts. We had two big ones and we finally joined them together right there with that little stripe. And it was a really fun, it was a little different joining method than I've used before. I haven't joined two pieces of fabric with this specific method before, and I really, really like the finished result. Let me see if I can get it really, really close to the camera here. Got to hold out just the right part of it here. Let's see. There. Can you see that darker brown line? It's a really, really gorgeous technique, and it's basically just slip stitching back and forth in each piece. And I've done the slip stitch join before, going through both pieces at once, but for this method, we did one piece, then the other. And I just love the look. It creates this really beautiful braided look to the join. This is really hard to do in the camera. There we go. there, there it is. That beautiful line. So I really enjoyed that. Very simple way to finish up and connect those two. I loved that it was crocheting and not sewing, but now I'm excited. We've got just 2 months left of kits to show you for this one. So we've got a couple more strips that I think were labeled side strips. So I think those are going to go along the sides. And then I'm guessing a border, but you never know. And that's the fun of it. Speaking of, you never know. The other crochet along that I will tell you definitely had me confused earlier this month was the Katia blanket crochet along because we filled in all the little holes inside the blanket and then I couldn't figure out we still had 2 weeks left. What were we going to be doing for both of those weeks? The border, obviously, for the last one, but what was that 4th week? I forgot about the edges. So here is my blanket so far. Isn't that pretty? Oop, running right into the microphone. I knew I was going to. But what we did then in week 4, kind of a duh once I got the instructions, was we filled in the little notches around the edges because the rest of it's made with octagons and then little squares that fill in. Like these big guys are octagons, these were squares, but then we had the edges, little notches. So obviously lots of ends to weave in here too. But we did these little half flowers and then the pull through loop method to attach those. So this was another really interesting method. I hadn't quite used at this scale before, but all of these are attached as you're crocheting the last round around them, and you just sort of pull a loop up through the opposite stitch of the piece you're connecting to. So similar to what I've done before, but definitely also a little different, which I always love. So yes, we added the side pieces. Oh, and can't forget 4 little corners. It's not super cornery right now. Let me hold that up a little better. There we go. So you can see 4 little, I guess it would be quarter flowers that we did for the corners. So 1 week left. I feel pretty confident in saying it's going to be the border. In fact, I'm very confident. I was able to print out the instructions yesterday, but I felt confident before that too. So if you're interested, if you're following along, if you'd like to follow along, it's not too late. Head over to the site now, though, and go ahead and get the pattern. They did put the pattern up free. When we started all this, they were saying they weren't going to. You guys spoke, they listened. The pattern is up for free, but you'll want to go get it now. You can always go back and get the yarn, but make sure and get the pattern because I really don't know how long they'll leave it up, especially with the big crochet along page. Also, right now, there are video tutorials up for each of those sections. So now's the time to get the pattern for sure. Every company just does it a little differently, so I'm not sure how long that will be up. But I've got it printed out. We're going to be doing all that for week number 5, all of that beautiful border. So got my work set out for me. Definitely will be catching up on that this week. And then hopefully I will get those instructions for the Jimmy Beans wool, the next kit number 11 here very soon, because I'm very excited to see how that all comes together as well. So lots of fun there with all the crochet alongs. It's been such a great year for that. Let's see. I'm going back to my list. The next thing is the giveaways. All right. Yes. Isn't that pretty? Oh, Chris, yes, that zigzag join, definitely give that a try. I really, really enjoyed it. The trick with the zigzag join is you do need to have pretty much the same number of stitches on each piece. One of the reasons I use the flat braid join for the Moogly crochet along is because it allows me to fudge things a little bit. Instead of skipping 2 spaces or 2 stitches here, we'll skip 1 or 3 or make it work. That join, that particular join, as shown in the Jimmy Beans wool one, you do want to have You could get away with maybe one more stitch on one and just kind of fudge it, but really you need to have the same number of stitches in each piece. So something to watch if you do want to give that one a try. Gorgeous, gorgeous effect though. Susan, oh, I hope you'll come back and join us for 2026. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. Again, great designers lined up. I'm excited to switch my yarn colors, of course. And I think it's going to be a great year for it. Yes. Yes. And yes, it's definitely, I dislike joining things generally too, but that pull through loop method, both of these methods are a lot of fun. Lots to play with there. All right, so let's get to those giveaways. We have 3 giveaways that are currently running right now. We have the newest one, Reversible Crochet Sweaters by Anna Maria Babanica. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. She is the creator of Crochet Highway, which you may have seen. And here it is right here. Absolutely gorgeous, stunning. I am just so impressed by this book, genuinely. Here's the thickness. You can see it's not a little thin guy. It's got some weight to it, some heft. It has 7 sweaters in sizes extra small to 5X with 9 matching accessories. So that means there's 16 patterns total. You can see here on the cover a good example. We've got a sweater with a matching scarf, but the real key to this is that they're reversible. And the way they're reversible is they're made using the interlocking technique. So people are like, is that mosaic? Is it this? Is it that? It's kind of its own thing. Interlocking, intermeshing. Some people disagree that those are the same thing. Some people say they're 2 names for this. Interlocking is, I believe, the official most accurate term for it. But here is just a good example right from the beginning, kind of showing you how it works. You work with 2 colors at once, and typically, like here you can see she's crocheting with the white yarn. Those stitches are going to be worked into other white stitches. When she's working with the blue yarn, that's going to be worked into other blue stitches. So that's kind of some similarities that might make you think of mosaic. But we're not really, except for the sort of a setup row where you do have to connect the 2. It really creates a double-sided fabric, and you can have 2 different patterns on each side, which you don't typically see in mosaic. Again, people are getting some very, very creative ways of meshing their techniques, but this is its own thing. And there are entire books of just stitch patterns of interlocking crochet, but this is the first time I've seen a book dedicated turning it into sweaters. And that is a tall order because these patterns, just the stitch patterns themselves, can be quite complicated. It's definitely more of a challenge. Here, for example, are the pages just getting you started for this sweater pattern. So you can see. Now, the stitches themselves aren't difficult. Typically, they're chains and double crochets, maybe some half double crochets and single crochets, but you're not going to be running into difficult stitches themselves. It's just that you've got a lot going on as you turn it into a sweater, right? We've got shoulder shaping, and she doesn't shy away from shaping with this. But you can see it's really laid out. She's taken her time. The book is this thick and it's 16 patterns. All these measurements are provided. And it's genuinely so impressive. Interlocking crochet has always impressed me. But I've always kind of shied away from it a little bit because it is complicated, especially to try and write it out in a way that, communicates it well. I want to find a really good one here to show you sort of the different looks that you get. So here's one side of this sweater, and you'll notice it's mostly the multicolor with some white tic-tac-toes in there. Let me find where she's got it the other side out. I was going to say wrong side out, but there's no wrong side. Here it is from the other side. Isn't that amazing? Looks like a completely different sweater, but this is the same sweater, just the other way around. There's that first picture again. So that is just an example of the really neat effects you can get. And she really does take her time and spell everything out for you in here. Like I say, there's tons of measurements, lots of full color photos, which I think you'll absolutely want and need. But the finished patterns, the finished items you're going to get from this are absolutely going to be worth it. She's got scarves, of course. There's some hats. Here's a hat with a matching sweater. I love the look of this sweater. Isn't that pretty? And you can see, if we look closely, you can see that shaping there. Absolutely gorgeous. Really lovely. very impressive stuff altogether. So definitely check this out. Here's another one. Oop, there we go. There's one side, and then we can see, oh, I just saw it. Where'd it go? There it is. There's the other side. So talk about packing light, right? It's crochet sweaters tend to take up a lot of room in our luggage, but when you can wear them twice and nobody will know, a little more efficient. But very impressive book overall. Anna's Maria has done a really gorgeous job with this. Very impressive. Again, you can check her out at Crochet Highway if you'd like to see some more of her stuff. If you want to check out her book, we've got it linked in the giveaway, of course. You can just go ahead and purchase it if you want to add it to your library. But we are giving away a copy of it right now on mooglyblog.com. So you can enter that. The next one we've got giving away, and I showed this one last time, Crochet Snails and Mushroom Sprites. This one is by Megan Lapp of Crafty Intentions. And this is a follow-up to her other books. They're back here in the back. Crochet Creatures of Myth and Legend, Crochet Impkins, and Crochet Monsters. So this is the fourth one, another hefty book. This one is not messing around. Very shiny, but very thick, and it's got some good weight to it. And like a lot of her other books, this one is sort of a mix and match, choose your own adventure situation where there are lots of parts for each of these guys, the snails and the mushrooms, and then you put together the parts you want to create your own custom creations. So again, Megan Lapp, she's Crafty Intentions right there. If you want to check her stuff out, again, I've got this linked as well as her past books linked in this giveaway if you want to get the collection. Lots of fun, just super imaginative. I love the world she's created. Really fun stuff. All right, what else? Oh, and then lots of Katya stuff today. We were talking about the blanket. And we also have a giveaway. This is just a little box that I'm using to keep everything organized. And this is all goodies from Katya. We've got, what is this? This is a 4-in-1 measuring pack. It's got a 10 by 10 sample gauge, knitting needle gauge, crochet hook gauge, and yarn thickness gauge. So that's set. There's this guy, which is a little pouch to keep your yarn safe while you're working in it. Of course, got to throw in some yarn to include in there, some basic merino. We've got a lint comb in its own pouch. And then here we've got some knitting stitch markers and knitting needle ends. So a little bit of something for everybody in here. There's a little bit of knitting. There's a little bit of crochet, yarn for everybody. And that is a giveaway happening right now. I'm going to be sending these one out myself. So this is just a little box I'm keeping them in for now. So be sure to enter all three of those giveaways happening on Moogly blog right now. Now, the last thing I've got to show to you today is my current work in progress. Here it is. All right. Now, I said lots of Katya stuff today, and that's because my whip is also in Katya. Now, because of the crochet alongs and different things that I've been working on behind the scenes, I haven't had a chance to work on my own new designs for a little while. The Farmhouse Bowl Cozy was a pattern that was a paid pattern until yesterday. I've decided to add it for free. And the corner window square was something I came up with much earlier this year. So luckily I had some things sort of in the bank and I was able to set aside some time for those crochet alongs and things. But now I'm getting back to making my own designs a little bit more. And I'm very excited about this. It was just in the bag, so I'm kind of trying to get it straightened out here without pulling out my stitches. I will tell you, the last time I got a chance to work on this one, I was at jury duty on this past Monday. So, like I say, I have to kind of pull it out and get myself reorganized here. Very happy to see jury duty, at least in Iowa, still allows us to bring crochet hooks. That said, I definitely brought a wooden one, not a metal one. So, what I'm using for this pattern is Katya Azteca. Let me see. I don't think I have a skein in here with the label still on it. But there we can see Katya Azteca. Great big skein, actually, getting a lot of yardage. I haven't used very many. I think I'm maybe on my second or third. I think this would be the third skein so far. And there are 197 yards. So it doesn't sound like that much, but it's a bulky yarn. And it's going pretty darn far. So you can see this is what it looks like in the skein. And I am working on a sweater. So let's all cross our fingers that it does work out and not go sideways. So here's what I've got so far. And you can see it's a little bit longer. I've had a lot of requests for a longer sweater, sort of a duster style. So that's what I am going for now. So I am making this in as one piece as possible. And a lot of times with a longer sweater, I've always preached, the importance of seams. I think with this one, we're going to get away with it because it is a really lightweight yarn. This one, it's not super heavy yet, It doesn't have a lot of weight to it. So I'm excited. I think it's going to look really good. Really simple start. We've got the back and I've got I think almost one of the front sides made. Just going to be a simple cardigan. Got a double V stitch pattern. Let me hold that up so you can see that a little better happening right there that I've used in other patterns before, but I was excited to revisit it for this one. So, as I say, I've got the back made and one front. Got to make the other front and then the sleeves. And I think for the sleeves, I want to do a more solid fabric. Let me know what you guys think. But I think a lot of times, like when I wear a sweater, having a more open or lace work across the top is really nice. But then a lot of times when it comes to the sleeves, either that feels too breezy, or if I'm wearing short sleeves or a tank top or something, then that shows through in a weird way. So I decided, I thought for me, I when I'm designing, I try and think about, just as a person who wears clothes, right? What do I like? I think for me, having the laced body with solid sleeves is going to be a really good look. But you guys tell me what you think. I think it'll be fun. I think, I think it'll be a good style, sort of the lacy body with the solid sleeves. I feel like I've seen that before. Um, just inspired by different things. So, sort of a long sleeve, maybe a gathered cuff. Again, let me know what you guys think. I've had a lot of requests for a longer sweater, so I think this one will fit the bill. And the nice thing, of course, is you can make it longer if you like. You can always add more length, and I will include that information in the pattern as well. So I'm hoping this one will be out by the end of the month. I did get out of jury duty for the next 2 years, so at least that won't slow me down anymore. But yes, so that is my current work in progress. That's what I'm working on right now. That'll be up on the blog, like I said, hopefully by the end of the month. But of course, I'll be keeping up with these other crochet alongs and other fun things in the meantime as well. And we're almost got that Moogly crochet along finished. So lots and lots of fun things. Lots of giveaways coming up as well. Teeny tiny little sneak peek. Not something you'll find linked in today's post, but there might be a ball winder giveaway coming up on Moogly soon. Just a really exciting month. Absolutely packed. Definitely some extra posts going up and lots of good things there. Julia, you like the solid sleeves. Good. Julia and Twimister. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Your really cool screen name. I'm glad you guys like the solid sleeves and Beaker too. Yes, I agree. Yes, I want my sleeves to be a little bit more solid. And that's a good note about not too drapey. Yes, I think making something a little bit more fitted as it comes down towards the wrist would be nice. So thank you guys. Good notes. I appreciate it. I'm excited that you guys are excited for the sweater. I am too. So I think I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We've been together for about our half hour here today, and I appreciate you spending it with me and taking the time to share your time with us. And it is just the month of being thankful, I guess. It's also my birthday month, so that's exciting. Make sure you are signed up for the Moogly newsletter if you're not already. There will be a special little something in the newsletter just this weekend for my birthday to celebrate. So definitely check that out. Like I say, get signed up if you aren't already. The link's right at the top of the blog. Easy to find. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you again for spending your time with me. Have a wonderful next couple of weeks here in November. I will be back for the next Crochet and Catch Up on November 19th. And of course, I'll be around and I'm sure I'll see you in the meantime. Always shoot me a line if you've got any questions about crochet or Moogly or anything else I can help you with. I'm always happy to help. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.